This year is the 10-year remembrance of the Sandy Hook tragedy. Today I have the honor of speaking with Mark Barden, the co-founder of the Sandy Hook Promise Foundation. This foundation has been instrumental in stopping school tragedies throughout our country and assisting those with mental health issues. Hey, Mark.
Good morning, Sheriff. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. It's wonderful to see you again.
It sure is good to see you as well, my friend. Thank you for including me in this.
Oh, well, it's very important. I can't thank you enough. When I first heard you speak, I guess it was 2017, and it was very impactful at the 5-year remembrance. Really, resonated for me, which really wanted me, I guess, push my desire to get involved even more. And luckily, as being the sheriff, I'm able to push this message out from a different perspective to hopefully reach more individuals. So I can't thank you enough also for coming to our forum. You came to St. Joseph's College where you spoke and really touched a lot of people's lives. So, thank you for doing this.
My goodness. So I really appreciate that. And it's been a wonderful partnership with you, Sheriff. And as you say, you have a very powerful and unique perspective. And to carry this message forward in such a meaningful and credible way. You're a great messenger and a great partner. So we really appreciate everything that we've been able to do with you and with your office and the communities that you serve.
No, thank you. And now I'm even more proud to be on the advisory board and really be able to really help a little bit more on the national level to get this message out.
Yeah, it's our honor to have you and to continue working with you and learning from you and helping us do this better. So yeah, we really appreciate you offering your time and services to our organization, Sheriff. Thank you.
Well, thank you again, Mark, for speaking with me. And if you can just tell us, as much as you want to about, why this was formed and why it's so important.
I am one of the co-founders and CEO of Sandy Hook Promise, specifically the Action Fund, where we do our policies. And this organization was formed in the aftermath of the horrible shooting tragedy at Sandy Hook Elementary School. And during that horrific event, my 7-year-old son, Daniel, was shot to death in his first grade classroom. And this is a pain that no human being should ever have to endure. And the reason that I set about doing this work is to achieve that, is to literally prevent other families from having to endure this pain of preventable gun violence. And so we started this organization shortly after that tragedy, and in the intervening nearly 10 years now, we have built this organization to what it is today, and it's continuing to grow. But we have truly landed on the essence of prevention, in that we have learned that there are warning signs before someone either harms others or themselves, and we have learned how to train students and teachers and parents how to recognize those warning signs and then get that individual connected to whatever help or services they may need. To get them out of that danger zone and prevent that tragedy from happening. And to date, we have prevented, that we can speak to, that we know for sure, students trained in our programs have now intervened and prevented at least 11 school shootings from happening that we can speak to. And they were planned and ready to go, and arrests were made. They were imminent threats. As well as hundreds of suicides that students trained in our Know the Science programs have either intervened on and gotten help for themselves or for others, for peers. And they do this with their training in our Know the Science programs, which is Say Something and with Start with Hello. And they can use our tip line, our anonymous reporting system, to submit a tip to a crisis center that's staffed with trained professionals around the clock who can triage that tip and get help to where it's needed immediately. So that's a lot there to answer that question, but that is sort of the nutshell of who Sandy Hook Promise is and what we do and how we got to where we are today.
And it's truly a great program. And, I was honored that in 2018 we were actually were able to start this partnership. And we've trained, the Suffolk County Sheriff's Office has trained over 30,055 students, faculty, and parents in two programs, the Start With Hello and the Say Something. And I wonder if you could talk a little bit more about those two programs specifically.
Sure, Sheriff. So Start With Hello. We'll start with Hello. It's near and dear to my heart because it trains students how to reach out to peers who are marginalized or chronically socially isolated, and make them feel connected or valued or visible even. And it's near and dear to my heart personally because this is something that my son Daniel used to do just kind of organically on his own. Teachers would tell us frequently that if somebody were struggling or sitting alone or he felt that somebody was left out of something, he would go out of his way to make sure they felt included. And through our research, we have learned that people who are chronically socially isolated for sustained amounts of time could be at risk for further worsening of conditions, of pre-existing conditions or emerging conditions that could lead them into harm's way, either through self-harm or harming someone else. So we know that with the Start With Hello program, we can mitigate a lot of downstream issues before they even manifest. So Start With Hello basically teaches students how to understand the difference between healthy alone time and somebody who may be at risk because they're being socially isolated, and to give them all kinds of tools and icebreakers and activities to where they can make people feel included and connected. And it's been tremendously successful. It's run by the students. They own it. They're empowered by it. They do a great job with it. And it's been very successful in schools. We have principals who tell us that their bullying numbers have gone to zero from students feeling more connected and empowered to reach out to one another through the Start With Hello program. And the Say Something program it trains students how to look for those warning signs that we know are there. And just a little sidebar, the Secret Service has recently conducted a body of research where they have concluded that probably about 100% of school shooters give off warning signs before they carry that out. And so what we do with the Say Something trainings is teach students what those warning signs are, how to actively look for them, how to identify them, and then how to tell a trusted adult when they observe these warning signs in somebody, in a peer, or maybe even themselves, and tell a trusted adult who can then connect them to whatever help or services they may need. In understanding that that can be a challenging barrier for many students to talk to somebody about this. We've also now offered them form. It's an anonymous reporting system where they can submit a tip either about concerning behaviors in themselves or concerning behaviors in a peer to a crisis center. They can do this by phone call or by text or email and connect with a live trained crisis counselor who can then triage that information, who is already connected with the school district that tip is coming from, who knows who the other, how to connect with the appropriate personnel, whether it's the principal or other school staff, or maybe even first responders in the area, depending on the nature of the tip. And as I said, this has been tremendously successful. And unfortunately, even more so as we have seen an uptick in suicidal ideation, and other violence that have been accompanied by the pandemic and the quarantine. So those are our flagship programs, and then we build these into saved promise clubs into schools so that we can sustain the curriculum of Start With Hello and Say Something, so that it's more than just a nice presentation that we give to the students, but it's continuous training that's built into the Save Promise Club, because we've learned that sustainability is key to the success of these programs. So we place a priority on building it into clubs in the schools so that students can be continually trained either through peer-to-peer or through other mentors as they go through their school years. And so this becomes part of their culture. And we found that is the pinnacle of success, is to do it that way. And just as another sidebar is that we offer these trainings at no cost to the schools.
Right. I don't know if you know that one of our success stories is we had a fifth grader in one of our school districts whose classmate told her that her mother's boyfriend was sexually abusing her. And so the student that had went through the Say Something program went to a trusted adult, and not only were we able to arrest the individual that was sexually abusing her classmate, but move her classmate and her mother to a safe location. So, clearly the program works on so many different levels and resonates with so many different so many different levels of our young people.
But we feel so empowered by the data that we were able to help somebody get out of that situation and correct that situation.
What other law enforcement agencies have you worked with, and why is it so important to have these programs delivered by the members of the law enforcement community?
We have worked with other law enforcement agencies across the country, various levels of various departments, and law enforcement represents a very powerful, credible, valuable voice to deliver these programs because uh, they are the bastion of community safety and school safety. And we deliver our programs very much with a holistic view in mind, and that this is delivered in the schools, but it also carries through the community. And that means coming home from school and being at home and being in sports and other activities within the community. And we include the teachers and the parents as well. So this is really a holistic. We want to be able to reach that student wherever they are with these programs. And the law enforcement is such an ideal liaison as community partners, as the community safety liaison who is so much integrated into this process, that we have not only identified law enforcement as such a valuable partner in delivering these trainings and sustaining these trainings, but has seen actual evidence that this partnership is effective and valuable in the way that we get these programs out into the communities.
Wow. And I'm sure you remember in 2019, I was able to speak at the gala in Washington, D.C. Not only was it an honor for me, my wife accompanied me. So we were both truly amazed at not only the support, but the different messages that came out. And, what do you think is some of the feedback from young people about the programs themselves?
We've got unbelievable feedback from students. And let me just back up real quick, Sheriff, that it was such an honor to have you speak at our gala, because we have long recognized champions and who are literally part of our organization. And you were just a big hit. It was your remarks were delivered so eloquently, and we had such great feedback from your presence at that event, and it was such a pleasure to have you there. So I'll say thank you again for being there with us. And yeah, so we get validation from students who are the boots on the ground, literally, who are delivering these programs to their peers, who are living the curriculum of these programs every day, that it really does resonate with them. And a lot of that goes back to just a simple tip. My wife, who was a career educator who taught in the Bronx for over a decade and is continuing to teach now in Dutchess County, New York, who said, told us those two things, that they have to be sustainable. You have to reach beyond a presentation and really embed this into the culture and the climate of the school. But that the students have to do this. The students have to be empowered by it. And also because the staff is already so burdened with programs and other activities that they have to deliver. And so it just works so well. These programs are not being done to the students from the staff or the administration, but they are literally living between the students and delivered by the students to the students. And it's working. It works so well that way. And we get just constant feedback from students how much they appreciate it, how much they enjoy it, how well it works, how much they're learning from it, how they feel they're able to help their peers, how they are able to be upstanders for their peers. And this is not just about preventing mass tragedies, but it's also about helping someone who feels compromised or alone or sad, or to know that they have a friend, to know that somebody's looking out for them, to know that they're noticed, that they're visible, that they're valued, and that they mean something to other people. All those things, when taken together and sustained over time, really improve the culture through a mental health perspective and through a community safety perspective. And we hear the proof in the pudding coming straight from the students all the time.
Is there one particular success story that kind of resonates with you?
We have several. The one that you just mentioned of that horrible story of abuse is one of them. But a student trained in our programs early on in Ohio, an eighth grade student who observed behaviors in social media, where the students really are the eyes and the ears. Their parents and their teachers aren't seeing these behaviors. But this eighth grade student said, "I saw something in my social media that I wouldn't have thought twice about the day before my Say Something training." But it was exactly what I learned. And she told her guidance counselor, who looked into it further and uncovered a mass casualty event that was planned and ready to go, and it was imminent, and arrests were made. And that was in 2015 when we were first developing our Say Something program and testing it in Ohio. Since that time, we've had that story repeat itself with increasing frequency as we reach more students with our programs, where students are able to be upstanders for one another and mitigate several issues, whether it's not only mass casualty events, but abuse or bullying or cutting or eating disorders or a whole range of social issues that students are able to observe either in themselves or in their peers and get somebody connected to help before it becomes something even more serious.
What message do you want to share with those that are watching here today?
I know it can, when folks see the news and the increasing shootings in public places and suicides, it can feel desperate, and you can feel hopeless and helpless. But I'm here to tell you that we have programs that work, and we have champions like Sheriff Toulon who help us deliver them and deliver them with fidelity and credibility. We have evidence from anecdotal evidence. We have research-driven evidence that informs us that these programs do work. And we just need to get these programs out there in all the schools in this country. We are a nonprofit. We give these programs away at no cost to the schools, but there is a resource expenditure on our end, of course, to deliver the programs and to sustain the programs with 100% fidelity. And so we just need to get out there. We need to get Say Something and Start with Hello and the Save Promise clubs into all students in all schools across the country, and at scale, and not only numbers of scale, but over time. This curriculum will be part of the culture and the climate of schools and communities across the country, and we can change this culture. We've seen it already. We've seen it in our studies in school districts across the country, elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools. We know that it works, and we know that we can improve the culture and the climate in schools, and that translates into the communities. And then over time, that translates into families, and that translates into the culture and the fabric of this country. So we have something incredible here that's working, and it's all hands on deck. We need more champions like Sheriff Toulon to help get the word out and to help administer and facilitate these trainings.
I can't thank you enough, and I'm looking so forward to not only working with your organization, especially now, as I mentioned earlier, being in an advisory board capacity, to really make sure that this message truly gets out to everyone. And I feel each moment we can make an impact where we're saving lives and we're helping individuals with the battles that they're faced with every day. I can't thank you enough, Mark, for coming on. Can't thank you enough for speaking with me and raising this awareness.
Thank you for helping us make Sandy Hook Promise better with your expertise and your experience in community safety and law enforcement and all the work that you do. You do by being an advisory and a consultant to this organization. You literally are making us better with your perspective and your experience and your expertise, and we truly appreciate it, Sheriff. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And if you think of anything else, how I could be of any assistance, please don't hesitate to reach out to me.
You'll regret that. No, I'm sorry. I'm serious. We have so much to learn from you and from your unique perspective, and I can't tell you how valuable it is to have access to you. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, my friend.
You too, Sheriff. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.